Hello, I am DemandMoreFM, and in today's video we are going through 20 tips and tricks for Football Manager 2021. But before we get into that, if you are new here, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. We have a lot of Football Manager content on the channel, and some of these tips I have covered in previous videos, and some you might know about, some you might not. If any of these are helpful for you, please let me know down in the comments below and give this video a like. Okay, so number one is getting Director of Football suggestions for players that you might want to buy. I use this feature in my Twitch save, which I am doing a journeyman. I'm currently with Locomotive Moscow. Link to that will be in the description if you want to come and hang out. So to get to the Director of Football suggestions, go to transfer. At the very top there's a bit that says Director of Football, and in that drop down there's a bit that says suggest transfer targets. Click on that and now you have an option of the type of targets you're looking for, whether it's a transfer, loan, end of contract or free transfer. I'll go for a normal transfer, and then you get to select the position you're looking for. I'll go for a midfielder, and then you get to select the role you're looking for. I'm going to go for the deep line playmaker. Suggest, and your Director of Football will come back with a couple of suggestions for you. Number two is using trials. Trials are a free way to scout players, but they have to be a minimum of 2 weeks. 2 weeks is the minimum you need to see all the attributes of a player. You can see this player I have not trialed at all. I can barely see anything about this guy. However, I trialed Reece Cole, and I can see all his attributes, and I only trialed him for 2 weeks. So it's a very quick way and able to find out more about a player without having to actually go and scout him. And you can trial multiple players at the same time, which is very handy. Number three is setting your scouting center preferences. So make sure you're in your scouting center, go to preferences here, and you can set how long you want to scout a player, how long you want to trial a player. I have both of these set at 2 weeks here. So now when I tick this button here that says offer trial, he will automatically be offered a 2-week trial. And the same thing when I scout a player, you'll now be scouted for 2 weeks. Number three is to use the next match only feature. So you are here just about to submit your team for the match. However, you want to make some slight tweaks. Instead of doing it to the entire formation, you can choose to only do it for the next match. To do this, come up to the top right here and it says next match only. Make sure that is ticked. You can do whatever changes to the tactic you want, change the defensive lines, change the mentality. This will only apply to the next match, and when the match is finished, it will go back to your standard tactic. Number five is utilizing the pick rotated squad options. Again, you're at the tactic screen, you get the quick pick option here, but if you click on the down arrow beside it, you get more options. You can pick a rotated side, you can get full rotation, slight rotation, more rotation. So if you want to fully rotate your side, just hit the full rotation and everybody in the team will be swapped out. Number five is to save your best 11. So let's say this is your best 11 you have selected here. Go to this little down arrow again, into manage, you can save team selections, you can give it a name, best 11, okay that. Now we just do a full rotated side again, and now you want to get back to your best 11. Click on the down arrow, go to manage, and you can select best 11, and everybody pops in to where they were before. Number seven is to always ask your board for anything. Asking the board to improve the training facilities, add more staff, will grow your team. Sometimes they will say no, but if you don't ask, you never get. In my Willem save, I asked the board for everything as soon as it's allowed. And you can see here, I've had a lot of things accepted. Coaching courses, increasing the junior coaching budget, we're building a new stadium, we've had an affiliate club approved. At Willem, we have 28 coaching staff, 31 recruitment members, and 12 medical staff. These have all increased because I just keep pestering the board, keep asking, and they keep giving. Number eight is setting your offer out to club defaults. You can do this by going to staff, up to responsibilities, clicking on transfers and contacts. Then there's the offer to clubs. Here you can tick the option to say transfer list and set to surplus to requirements if you want to offer the player out. You can also set your defaults for the loans. So I have here, when I offer a player out for loan, I want the team to pay 100% of the wages. I want them to be at least a regular starter, and the team that they're going to have at least good facilities. You can set this here, always remember to hit confirm, but now when you offer a player out for a loan, you know exactly what type of team they're going to go to. Number nine is remember the promises you have promised. You can find this by going to home, and then there's the promises tab there, and then you get to see all the promises you have made. You can see here I have a promise to Christian Romero to sell him, but this is a good place to keep track of any promises you have made. Number 10 is to use notes. You can add notes to players, which can be quite handy. We look here at Daniel Shamkin, I can't read his name. We look at his report, it actually says he doesn't enjoy big matches and is fairly inconsistent. Something you probably want to know about. So what we can do here is we can go to history, and create a note. So we are going to add a note to Daniil saying he's inconsistent and doesn't enjoy big games. You can see that he's got the note there. We can now see in the squad view, he's got this little yellow sticker beside him. You can now see in the notes, if you hover over it, you can quickly see that he's inconsistent and doesn't enjoy big games. Now you can put whatever you want in there. Number 11 is using reminders. If you have something that's happening in your game that you are likely to forget about, put in a reminder. You can do this by going to schedule, and then at the very top there's a reminder section. So let's say I want to do something on Friday the 14th. Click on the little down arrow. You can say create a note with a reminder on this day. You can put in a note saying you need to sell a player, and at the bottom right there's a reminder date and then the reminder occurrence. So how often do you want the reminder to happen? Every day, every week, month, 3 months, 6 months, yearly? So you can add that in. So you'll now get a reminder to sell a player, and you'll also see that in your calendar here, to sell a player. So it could be quite useful to add reminders in if you've got certain things you want to do. Number 12 is to set your training intensity based on your player's fitness. So you can change how intensive their training is based on how fit your players are and how well conditioned they are. So if they're very tired, they'll end up doing less training. If they're fully fit, you can make them do more training. To do this, head to the training tab, and at the top there's a bit that says rest. And at the very top you can see the training intensity scheduling. So if a player's condition is very poor, they're doing no pitch or gym work, and if their condition is very good, they are doing normal intensity. And you can change this. You can make them do double intensity if they're fully fit. You can change these values depending on how you want the players to train. If their condition is fair, you can actually drop that down from normal to half intensity, just to make it easier on the players. And providing you have all these players set to automatic, they will automatically do whatever you have set at the top. Number 13 is seeing how hard your training units are working by hovering over the intensity. So we come to training again. Under overview, you can see your training for the week. And at the bottom, there is intensity, and it says percentage of game load. You can see we're playing Porto here, and that's 100% intensity because it's a full game. Now we hover over the intensity bar here. You can see how intensive the goalkeeping unit is working. You can see how intensive the defensive unit is working, and you can see how intensive the offensive unit is working. And you can see the individual breakdown of injury risk, condition, fatigue, sharpness, and happiness. So it's just something to bear in mind when you are scheduling your training, that you're not overworking one particular unit. Number 14 is to compare your team to the league average. To do this, go to Team Report, then under Analyst Report, at the very bottom it says Comparison. Click on this, and you can see how your team stacks up against the league. You can click on General, all positions, goalkeepers, defence, midfield, attack, physicals, mentals, and technicals. So you can see here we have the youngest team in the league. This is my Twitch save. We're generally quite tall players, 6 foot. We can also see based on positions. So our defensive players are really good actually. At the bottom you have the key attributes for the defensive roles. So tackling, heading, jumping, marking, positioning, strength, pace, and acceleration. And our players look really good. And if you select midfield, the attributes change based on the key ones for midfielders. So passing, long shots, vision, stamina, teamwork, tackling, technique, and decisions. You can see here again, we are generally really quite good compared to the rest of the league. So this is quite handy to let you know how your team fares compared to everyone else in the league. Number 15 is using the team dynamics to see who supports you. To do this, go to the dynamics, hierarchy, and then select your manager. Here you'll get to see everybody who supports you, people who don't support you, and people who have no real opinion of you. So I have 21 players that support me and 4 that have no real opinion of me. 0 oppose me, which is really good. And you can see all the players that support me. I'm very glad that Chicken supports me. That makes me happy. Number 16 is using the happiness page to manage your morale. You go here, go to dynamics, then go to the happiness page. Here you get to see the entire breakdown of the player's morale and what aspects are affecting it. You can see here that my team leaders are superb, perfect, and perfect. They are satisfied or delighted with everything about the club. You can see here that Lazaro, he's a bit concerned about his playing time. So you can come here, look at who's dissatisfied, who's concerned, and maybe start to work on some of the things that could potentially become problems. So if you see a player is unhappy with his playing time, maybe look to reduce his squad status or play him more. Number 17 is to manage the expectations of the player's playing time. To do this, go to a player's profile, go to the happiness page within the player profile, and then here you'll get to see the playing time pathway. You can change the agreed playing time in here. And you can change this, and sometimes the player will be quite happy to accept what you change it to. Sometimes it might not. It depends on the player. It also depends on if they're actually playing and whether they'll accept the lower squad status. You can see here Xerxes is down as an important player, but I think he's more of a regular starter. So I can go to change here, click regular starter, and then change playing time. And he's quite happy with that. He's very happy, accepts going to the regular starter status. So if we look here at Zaniolo, he's down as an important player too. So I could maybe change his down to regular starter. Let's see what happens if I try and select squad player. Click on change, down to squad player. You can see immediately the agent pops up saying, he might not like being a squad player, so you don't do it. But if I select regular starter, change playing time, he's quite happy with that. This is a nice little tool to manage the morale so the players don't expect to be playing more than they should be. Number 18 is using the transfer rumours to potentially see what players are available. To do this, go to your league, to news, and then transfer rumours. Here you can see all the transfer rumours. You can see teams that might be interested in certain players, players that might be available. So it's quite good to look here and find out what's going on. Number 19 is hovering over a characteristic of your profile to find out your percentage. What I mean by this, if you go to your manager profile, if you hover over reputation, hover over the bar, you can see my reputation is 85%. However, you can see my domestic player bias is only 1%. So you can see things that you might need to work on. It's very useful when you're doing like a journeyman type save, so you can look to see what kind of clubs you need to move to increase your reputation, or what things you need to improve on. You can see my media handling, tactical consistency, hands-on approach, managing finances, team discipline are all pretty good, but my loyalty, domestic player bias, I need to improve on. And number 20 is one I always forget, is right-clicking on the sidebar. I always forget to do it, but it's a very quick way to navigate around the menus. So let's say I want to get to my shortlist. I can right-click on scouting and immediately get to shortlist. It's a lot quicker than clicking scouting and then going and clicking on shortlist. Something I always forget to do. I need to remind myself more to do it. Well, there you go, guys. There's 20 tips for Football Manager 2021. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and cheerio.